Welcome to the Library Love Fest podcast. I'm Virginia Stanley.
I'm Lainey Mays.
And I'm Grace Carinolo.
We are the library marketing team at HarperCollins Publishers. We bring librarians and great books together.
The new year brings new offerings from our podcast. The first episode of the month will have book presentations, author interviews, voicemails from librarians like you, and more.
And our mini episode halfway through the month features our Library Reads winners. Don't miss our winning authors' acceptance speeches.
Welcome and enjoy the show.
Book Buzz, HarperCollins Book Buzz. Check it out. Do-do-do, Book Buzz, HarperCollins Book Buzz. Brought to you by Library Love Fest.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Library Love Fest podcast. And it's the announcement of the Library Read selections for the month of August. Woohoo! Very excited. Woo. Grace, are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Lainey's on vacation, so it's me and Grace. Bringing it on home.
All right. V, do you want to tell them a bit about Library Reads for those who may not know?
Yes, for those of you who don't know, Library Reads is a monthly list of selections, titles selected by librarians, people who work in the public library. You don't actually have to have your degree. As long as you work in a public library, you are eligible to vote for Library Reads, for titles for the Library Reads list. And the votes are due the first day of the month prior to the book's on sale date. So that's why we are so excited that we have 5 authors appearing in this particular issue. Now, Grace, do you want to tell them a little bit about the top 10 and the extras?
Yeah, so if you make it on the Library Reads list, the order doesn't matter except for the first pick. So that'll be the number 1 pick. Otherwise, you're on the list.
Once you've made that list 2 times, after that, you can't make the top 10 as much as we'd love to. But I think that was a really smart move by the Library Reads steering committee, because it just makes that list, just very fresh with new names, and it gives new writers a chance. So, yeah.
And they've also started doing a section where they highlight a nonfiction book, a nonfic pick, if you will. And there's also a bonus pick that is chosen by one of their board members. So that's new and exciting things, and shows a lot more books than they previously were showing. So this was a really good month for us. We have so many author recordings for you to listen to as their acceptance speech after they found out that they were a pick. So we'll get right to it.
Go ahead, Grace. Do the honors of the first author on the list.
So the first book that made the list is Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo, and this is what she had to say.
Hi, Liz Acevedo here, and I just want to give such a huge thanks to all of the librarians who chose Family Lore as the Library Reads Pick of August. I am beyond delighted to know that such fantastic and dedicated readers, folks who really think about pairing the person with the prose, thought enough of my novel to bring it to audiences in this way. And so I so appreciate that you saw something of merit, something worth discussion, that you're going to encourage folks to take precious time to sit with my work and my words. And I don't take for granted all of the hard work that you all are doing. I'm thrilled to know that you enjoyed the novel and that you think your patrons will enjoy it as well. Sending so much love to all of you and the hard work that you do, especially in this moment in time where it seems like there's so much happening in the world. The fact that we can all commune over books and ideas and thoughts and narratives and find ourselves in the worlds that creative people are making. I think it says a lot that you're doing this work, and I so appreciate you. Thank you.
She's amazing. She's a National Book Award winning author, and this is her first novel for adults. So Family Lore is really just a beautiful, beautiful story about this Dominican American family. And it's a real celebration, this book. And I love what she says about the hard work that librarians do. A lot of these recordings address, sort of the times and the what librarians are up against these days. And so it's a familiar thread throughout these recordings. But yay for Elizabeth Acevedo.
Definitely. And the next book that made the list is Allie Carter's The Blonde Identity. And this is this is also an adult book. She was previously writing, middle grade, young adult books, like the Gallagher Girls series. So this is a fun rom-com, and here's what she had to say.
Hi, this is Allie Carter, and I just want to thank you so much for including my new book, The Blonde Identity, on the August 2023 Library Reads list. Libraries and librarians have played such a huge role in my life. It was a librarian who handed me a copy of The Outsiders when I was in middle school, and that book made me want to become a writer. It was at the Chanute Public Library in Chanute, Kansas, where I actually wrote my very first draft of my very first book. And librarians have always been so incredibly supportive of my work in the past. From my YA and middle grade books, now into my first adult rom-com, I am so overwhelmingly honored to have such a wonderful community supporting me and the stories that I'm putting out into the world. But for all of the good that libraries and librarians have done for my career, what I'm most grateful for is what you've meant to my life, because I genuinely don't know who I would be or where I would be without you. So thank you very much again.
I love that a librarian gave her a copy of The Outsiders, and that book made her want to become a writer. That is so cool.
It's actually one of my personal favorites, and it was also a really good, I thought the movie adaptation was actually very good.
Yeah, it was. Side note, Allie Carter was at the ALA conference that was recently held in Chicago, and oh my God, that line for her signing in the HarperCollins booth was bananas.
People really showed up for her.
Didn't they ever? And then didn't you go to the romance panel that she was on?
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. She was accompanied by a lot of other fantastic authors, and it was just a really wonderful conversation between all of them, and people waited for her to sign there as well, and it was a great time. It was great to see a lot of love for Allie Carter. She's got a strong fan base,
and she was super excited. I mean, I had never met her before. Then when she came to the booth to do her signing, and she was so amped and so up and just bubbly and enthusiastic and kind to every single person who came up to get their book signed. She was just lovely.
For sure.
Next,
we have Codename Charming by Lucy Parker. That is our third pick on the list. And here's what she had to say to librarians.
Hi, this is Lucy Parker, and I wanted to say a huge thank you to all the librarians who put my book Codename Charming on the Library Reads list for August 2023. That news has honestly made my month. As a librarian's daughter, I feel like I grew up in libraries. The library, any library really, has always been a place where I feel immediately at home wherever I am in the world. It was where I probably spent more time than anywhere else at school and at university. My first jobs were in libraries, and it's an endless dream come true for me that I now have books of my own in the stacks. It means a huge amount for me to be on this list, especially with a book that basically became my life for quite a while, and characters I'm very fond of, and quite a few sleepless nights, and I'm just, very grateful. Thank you so much again.
I love that she's a librarian's daughter, and I think it really comes through when she talks about how honored she is to be on the list, and it was just such a sweet message.
It really is. Yeah, that was really sweet, and apparently she just got over a cold, and you'd never know it. She sounds up and chipper and excited, and that's just really, really sweet. So those are 3 of our books that made the top 10, which is amazing. And then we have 2 books in the Hall of Fame. And like we said, once an author makes the library reads twice, um, they're no longer eligible for the top 10, but forever eligible to make the Hall of Fame. And all of this is on libraryreads.org. So you can go there and check out, every month you can see who made what. And it's a really great website. They keep that up, and there's a lot of great information on there. But Grace, do you want to tell them who made the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, so we have Sarah MacLean for her book Knockout, and this was her message to librarians.
This is Sarah MacLean, and I just got the incredible news that Knockout, my new book, is on the Hall of Fame list for Library Reads for August of 2023. I am so incredibly moved and so grateful to librarians and library media specialists and readers who use libraries for coming to the table over and over again over the years for my career and for my books and for these characters who mean so much to me. I'm so honored that they mean as much to all of you. This new series, Hell's Bells, is one I'm really proud of. It's a series about people who face down injustice even when they don't have institutional power. And I want to thank librarians, especially right now, for the work that they are doing in facing down injustice in the world and in the United States right now, and making sure that books can get into the hands of people who need them most, and that ideas and people and experiences and backgrounds and lived identities are represented in their spaces and get into the hands of readers who need them most. The work that you do is important, and the work that you do should be celebrated and supported and defended. And I am so grateful to know so many of you and to have so many of you support my work. So thank you for all you do, and thank you for your incredible, incredible lifting up of my books and of me over the years.
She is so lovely. We've had her on Door to Door. We've interviewed her many times, and she's just so smart, so kind, so funny. And this Hell's Bells series is relatively new. Knockout is the 3rd book in this series. The first one was Bombshell that only came out in 2021, and then Heartbreaker in 2022. So it's relatively new series that focuses on these 4 aristocratic women who solve problems. And I just love that she talks about, again, an author comparing sort of, this series that's about people who face down injustice in the world, and then draws direct correlation to librarians who are, facing down injustice as well, getting books into the hands of readers every day, and just celebrating that important work. And she's just so brilliant and so authentic, and they all are, but I love how eloquent she is. Speaking of eloquent, do you want to talk about the last author? Last, but certainly not least.
Yeah, we have a library fave, Ann Patchett, for her new book, Tom Lake. And here's what Ann had to say to librarians.
Hey, librarians. It's Ann Patchett in Nashville, Tennessee. And I want to say thank you so much for including my book, Tom Lake, in the Hall of Fame. I really, really appreciate it. And this book is about a lot of things. Hey, you voted for it. I bet you've already read it. So memories, the past, cherry picking, being with your family, the pandemic. And more than anything, I think that it's a book about seeing the good in the world, no matter how hard times are, and seeing the love of the people around you, even when things at a distance seem very grim. And I have to think that that is what it's like for librarians right now, because librarians, you really, really are under fire. And I love you for your bravery and for standing up for everybody's right to read. And I hope that this book resonates with you in its message of the things that surround you that are still loving and beautiful. I root for you 100%. And I very, very much appreciate you rooting for me. Thank you.
She's like butter.
Yeah.
And Patchett, she steps up, boy. In fact, she was the first person to respond with these. Not that everybody didn't do a wonderful job getting their recordings in, with time limitations and colds and head colds and things going on. But right away, she got her recording in. She is so appreciative of all of the work that librarians do. And this book, Tom Lake, boy, Ann Patchett, she just, everything she touches turns to gold. I love her books. This one got starred reviews in Kirkus and PW and Booklist. And, it's about this family that goes home to their Michigan orchard and they have to harvest the cherries, and it's during the pandemic. And it's just it's a wonderful story about marriage and family and looking back. Great reviews from starred reviews from PW, tons of reviews, but stars from Booklist, PW, and Kirkus. But Elle magazine gave it this really cool quote, which I love. It says, "One of our greatest living chroniclers of love and marriage and its resounding impacts over generations is back this summer. Expect wonder. Patchett always delivers."
I was just about to say Patchett always delivers, and they took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. Wow.
Right?
Yeah, and that is a wrap for August. We were so excited when we saw how many books were on this list, and it's just great that we get to come back every month and, keep doing this podcast, keep hearing from authors. So thank you to librarians for, supporting the authors and telling their patrons about these books that we think are so important and so wonderful.
And to quote Ann Patchett, for standing up for everybody's right to read, for fighting the fight, for doing what you do, what all of these authors have said so eloquently. Thank you for all you do. And hopefully we'll be back next month with another list of books that make the list for Library Reads.
Happy reading.
Thank you for listening to the Library Love Fest podcast. For more information, go to librarylovefest.com. Enjoying the show? We would love to hear what you think. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Library Love Fest, on Instagram and TikTok at Harper Library. And you can always give us a call and leave us a message. It might end up on the show. That number is 212-207-7773. Be sure to rate and review us and share the show with a friend. Until next time.